Once upon a time, in a dusty village at the edge of a deep forest, there lived a girl named Myra. She was known by everyone not for wealth or beauty, but for her torn dress, her worn-out shoes, and her quiet smile. Myra lived with her grandmother in a tiny wooden hut with a leaky roof. Her parents had passed away when she was very young, and her grandmother, too old to work, tried to make ends meet by sewing clothes for others, but they barely had enough to eat. Every morning before the sun rose, Myra fetched water from the well, helped her grandmother with chores, and walked to the village school. She loved learning, even though her books were second-hand and her pencil was worn to the nub. Some children teased her for her ragged clothes and patched-up shoes, but Myra never let it show. She would simply smile and say, "Someday, I will help others too." Myra's dream was to become a teacher, to help children like her learn and grow. But as her grandmother's health worsened, Myra had to leave school and find work. She swept floors at the baker's, washed clothes for her neighbors, and sold herbs she picked from the forest. The days were hard, and sometimes she went to bed hungry. Yet every night she lit a tiny oil lamp and studied whatever old books she could find. She never stopped believing that one day things would change. One rainy evening, Myra was walking home through the muddy road when she saw a boy crying near the forest edge. He was lost, cold, and frightened. Without thinking twice, Myra gave him her shawl and stayed with him under a tree until the rain passed. Then, she led him back to the village. The boy turned out to be the son of a wealthy merchant who had been visiting from the city. The next day, the merchant arrived at Myra's hut, deeply grateful. "You saved my son," he said. "Please, let me help you." At first, Myra refused. "I only did what anyone would do," she said. But the merchant saw something more: kindness, courage, and strength in her. He insisted on helping. He paid for her grandmother's medicine, repaired their little home, and offered to sponsor Myra's education. With tears in her eyes, Myra accepted, not for herself, but for her grandmother, who had given her everything. Years passed. Myra studied harder than ever, and eventually earned a scholarship to a city college. She became a teacher, just like she dreamed, but she didn't forget her roots. She returned to her village and built a school where all children, rich or poor, could learn for free. She also started a food program for struggling families, and took care of her grandmother until her final days. Myra never wore fancy clothes or lived in a big house, but her heart was full and her smile was brighter than ever. The girl with the worn shoes had become a symbol of hope. Her story was told again and again, not because she became rich or famous, but because she proved that kindness, courage, and determination could light up even the darkest path. Moral: even in the face of hardship, kindness and determination can open doors no one else sees. True wealth lies in the heart.